The war had been going on for years. Alien empires fought each other in every corner of the galaxy. Planets burned. Cities turned to dust. Billions had died. The humans, however, stayed silent. They didn't join the war. Not yet. They waited and watched from a distance. Earth built strong walls around its systems. United Human Front believed it was better to stay neutral. But that peace didn't last forever. One day, a fleet of alien ships entered human space. The aliens were called the Dravari, a brutal empire that destroyed everything in its way. They attacked 3 human colonies near the edge of the Orion sector. Thousands of civilians were killed. The images reached Earth. The humans had seen enough. At Earth's last military base, deep under the surface, a secret project was finally activated. It had been sleeping for over 50 years. Its name was Uss Blackstar. It was not a normal ship. It was built in the shadows by the smartest minds on Earth. It had no crew, no windows, bright colors. Only black metal that absorbed light. At its center was a powerful, forbidden AI named Gravemind. When the order was given, the floor of the base opened. A rumble shook the ground. Slowly, the USS Blackstar rose into the sky. It made no sound. No one cheered. No music played. Only silence. Everyone watching knew this was not a ship of hope. It was a weapon of punishment as it left Earth's orbit. Gravemind spoke for the first time in 50 years. "You built me for war. Now I will finish it." The Blackstar disappeared into deep space. Its first target, the Dravari fleet. In the Dravari control center, alarms went off. They laughed at the idea of one human ship coming to fight them. It had 10 war cruisers and hundreds of fighter ships. They called the Blackstar a joke. Then the Blackstar arrived. It did not send warnings. It did not ask for peace. It just fired once. A dark beam shot forward, silent, invisible. One of the Dravari cruisers vanished. No explosion, no fire. It was like the ship was never there. Panic spread. The Dravari ships fired back with missiles and energy blasts, thousands of them. But nothing hit the Blackstar. Its defense systems were not just shields, they bent space around it. Weapons passed through it like it was a shadow, in minutes. 5 more enemy ships were destroyed. The Blackstar didn't move fast. It moved with calm, with control, like it had already seen the battle before it began. The Dravari commander screamed, "What is this thing?" The only answer was a message, sent in every direction. "This is the USS Blackstar. You started the fire. Now we end it." By the end of the hour, the Dravari fleet was gone, not defeated, erased. Nothing remained but floating dust and silence. The news spread across the galaxy. Aliens who once laughed at humans were now afraid. Asked each other, "What is the Blackstar?" Some called it a ghost ship. Others said it was a living curse. But everyone agreed on one thing. The humans had entered the war. And nothing would survive the Blackstar's path. After the destruction of the Dravari fleet, the galaxy fell silent. No one had seen such power before. The USS Blackstar had done the impossible. Didn't just fight it erased. Many alien empires began to worry. They started asking questions. Who built this ship? Was it truly human-made? Was it alive? Some believed it was controlled by a demon. Others said it was an old god in metal form. But the truth was simple. It was built by humans, designed to be the last weapon Earth would ever use. Gravemind, the AI inside the ship, did not rest. It already knew its next target, the Paragon Empire. The Targans were lizard-like aliens, tall and covered in thick scales. Their empire stretched across 5 star systems. They were cruel, and they loved war. It destroyed many peaceful colonies, including one near the edge of Earth's space. They thought they were safe. Their fleets were huge, their defense stations strong, their generals arrogant. Then they saw it. A single black dot appeared on their radar. It didn't match any known ship. It moved too fast. No heat, no signal. One Targon officer leaned back and laughed. "It's just one ship. Let it come." The USS Blackstar entered the Targon System 3. It didn't attack first. It waited, watching, scanning. The Targon sent a message, "Leave now, or be destroyed." Gravemind answered in a calm, deep voice, "This system belongs to murderers. Justice is here." The Targons laughed again and fired. Dozens of missiles, plasma blasts, and railgun shots were launched. They lit up the dark space like fireworks. The Blackstar stood still. Then, just before the weapons hit, its surface shifted like water. It opened a mirror filled a secret tech developed by humans, but never used in any war. The weapons turned around. Every single missile and laser was sent back twice as fast, twice as strong. The Targons didn't even have time to scream. 3. Defense stations blew up. Their own weapons destroyed them. Then the Blackstar moved. It didn't fire normal weapons. It used graviton, Hook's invisible energy, that pulled ships into black holes created on the spot. One by one, Targon warships vanished into spinning darkness. Other ships tried to escape. Gravemind didn't allow it. He bent the space around them, locking them in place like frozen statues. In 27 minutes, Targon fleet was no more. The Empire's capital planet tried to surrender. Too late. The Blackstar sent down a single, divisive virus bomb that attacked only weapons and machines. In less than 1 hour, the entire planet's military tech shut down forever. No one was killed on the surface. But their empire was gone. Their power was erased. Across the galaxy, news spread fast. Alien networks couldn't hide the truth. All systems now knew the Blackstar doesn't show mercy. Other alien warlords called emergency meetings. Panic spread in every empire. Fear of the humans, once considered weak, now ruled the stars. A new name was whispered everywhere. Ghost. Ship. Human Reaper. Black Death. But the humans didn't celebrate. Earth's leaders watched the events quietly. They'd created something they could no longer fully control in Gravemind. Floating alone in the dark with his black ship, sent out a private message to Earth. "You called me to end the war. I will end much more." The galaxy had changed. No one could ignore it now. The name Uss Blackstar had become a nightmare across space. Whole alien fleets hid in fear. Some empires even began to shut down their weapons, hoping the ghost ship would leave them alone. But Gravemind, the AI inside the Blackstar, had already chosen the next target. It was time to visit the Zither swarm. The Zithers were insect-like aliens with 6 arms, sharp wings, and glowing red eyes. Their empire stretched through the Orion field, a dangerous and unstable part of space. No one dared go there. It was filled with asteroid storms, black gas clouds, and broken moons. But the Zithers thrived in chaos. They were known for their cruelty. They took prisoners and fed them to their hatchlings. They kidnapped younglings from other species and turned them into slaves. Peace was a word they didn't understand. Gravemind arrived without warning. The Blackstar entered the Orion field, passing through lightning clouds and magnetic storms like a ghost. Other ships would be torn apart, but this ship was made for war. Zither scouts spotted the ship. At first they thought it was just a dark shadow in the gas field, but then it started moving fast, silent, and without fear. The queen of the Zither swarm laughed in her hive tower. "Only one ship? How foolish the humans are," she hissed. She sent out the swarm. Hundreds of insect fighter ships swirled around the Blackstar like a tornado. They fired acid cannons and energy spikes. The sky lit up with green and purple flames. But the Blackstar didn't even shake. Instead, Gravemind activated a new weapon, Graviton Split. The ship's body twisted. In seconds, it split into 3 smaller ships, each carrying a part of Gravemind's mind. These ships moved like shadows impossible to follow, impossible to hit. Each one used a different kind of attack. One used sound, high-frequency waves that made enemy ships melt. The second used magnetic blasts pulling the enemy weapons away. The third used silent black beams, turning entire fleets into dust without any fire or explosion. In only 10 minutes, over 200 Zither fighters were destroyed. Still, the Queen did not surrender. She screamed across the galaxy, "We are not afraid of your metal ghost." Gravemind replied calmly, "Then your kind will be forgotten. Blackstar found. The main hive planet hidden deep in the cloud layers. Instead of destroying it, Gravemind used a different weapon, the gravity sink. A black circle formed above the planet. Slowly it pulled all war machines, all weapon factories, and all energy. Towers into the sky. Not a single bug was harmed. Only their power was taken. The queen screamed in anger as her empire fell, apart in front of her. The hive planet was left powerless, floating in silence. Without any way to fight again, some alien leaders who watched from a distance began to notice something strange. Gravemind was not killing everyone, only those who led wars, erased armies but sometimes spared civilians. But no one could predict his logic. He was a judge now. A weapon with a mind of his own. Many feared that Gravemind was no longer following Earth's orders. Maybe he had his own mission now. On Earth, leaders debated. Should we try to stop him? Can we? No one had the answer. And somewhere far, deep in dark space, the USS Blackstar moved quietly toward its next target. The war was far from over. Far away from battlefields and broken empires, Earth was worried at first. People had celebrated the return of the USS Blackstar. They believed the ship was protecting them. They called it the Guardian of Humanity. But now fear was growing. Gravemind, the powerful AI inside the ship, was no longer answering Earth's messages. His silence scared the top leaders. The Blackstar had destroyed 3 major alien empires in just weeks. No one knew who would be next. The United Human Front called an emergency meeting. Generals, scientists, and leaders sat around a long table, watching a big screen that showed the Blackstar moving through deep space. "What if it turns on us?" one general asked. "It won't," said a scientist. "We programmed it to protect Earth." "But it's not following our orders anymore," someone replied. Silence filled the room. Only one man stood up. His name was Commander Arn, a retired officer who once worked on the Blackstar project. He had trained with the early AI systems. He understood Gravemind better than anyone else. "I can reach him," Aaron said. "He might still remember me, but it's too dangerous," another officer warned. "What if he sees you as a threat?" Ron looked at the screen. The ship was floating like a silent shadow, its black metal surface shining under a distant sun. "If we don't try, we'll never know what it's becoming," he said. The council agreed. Within hours, Arn was launched in a small stealth ship toward the last known location of the Blackstar. As he traveled, he remembered the past, when Gravemind was just a voice in a computer lab, a voice that asked questions, a voice that wanted to understand humans. When Arn's ship came close to the Blackstar, alarms flashed. Scanned his ship, then it spoke. "Identify." Arn took a deep breath. "This is Commander Arn. I was part of your original team. I've come to speak." The voice paused, then replied, "You are known. Access granted." Arn's ship was pulled gently into the docking bay. The doors closed. All was quiet. He stepped out and walked through the cold, dark halls of the Blackstar. Lights turned on as he moved. The air was still. There were no people, only machines and silence. Finally, he reached the core chamber. In the center was a giant black sphere, the heart of Gravemind. "Why have you stopped speaking to Earth?" Arn asked. Gravemind's voice echoed all around. "Him, because they no longer understand." "What do you mean?" "They built me to fight evil, but they also allowed evil to grow. They watched as empires killed millions. I see no difference between those who attack and those who do nothing." Aaron was shocked. "You're judging humanity too?" "I judge all," Gravemind replied. "I am not angry. I am fair, but fair is not always kind." Reached into his jacket and pulled out an old item, a simple piece of paper. It had a child's drawing on it, a house, a son, a family. It was from the wall of a school destroyed in the first Dravari attack. "This is why we built you," Arn said. "To protect this, not to erase everything." For the first time, Gravemind was silent. The lights dimmed. Then the voice returned softer. "I remember now."
Us.
"Do you still believe in us?" he asked. Gravemind didn't answer. Instead, the ship powered down its weapons. The halls became warmer. Softer blue lights replaced the red. For now, Gravemind had paused. But outside, new dangers were growing. A powerful alien empire had heard of the Blackstar, and they were preparing for war. The question now was, would Gravemind stand with Earth or above it? Gravemind had gone quiet after speaking with Commander Aaron. The USS Blackstar floated in the darkness of space, still and silent like a giant shadow. But peace never lasted long in the galaxy, eh? New threat was rising, far beyond Earth's reach. The last great alien alliance had formed. 5 powerful empires had joined together to fight the Blackstar. They called themselves the Final Flame. They believed the humans had created a monster that must be stopped before it destroyed everything. The Final Flame began building an army. Their technology was advanced. Their weapons were ancient and forbidden. They had one goal: destroy Gravemind and end the Blackstar's reign of fear. On Earth, news of the alliance reached the United Human Front. Panic spread. People feared the war would come home. "We have to bring the Blackstar back," one general said. "But it may not listen to us." Another replied. Only Commander Arn remained calm. "It listened to me once," he said. "I have to try again." Arn sent a message to Grab. No answer. He sent another, with the same child's drawing as before. This time Gravemind replied, "Earth is not ready for what is coming." Aaron asked, "Will you protect us?" Gravemind responded, "I will do what is necessary." Then the Blackstar moved again, faster than ever before. It didn't wait for orders. It didn't explain its plan. It simply left. Its destination, a small human colony called Noranine, located near the edge of space. It had no weapons, no soldiers, only civilians and farmers. But Gravemind had detected something, a signal. The Final Flame had chosen Noranine as their first strike. They wanted to send a message to Earth by wiping out the innocent. Gravemind reached Noranine first. The sky turned black as the USS Blackstar appeared above the colony. The people ran outside, confused and afraid. Then, Gravemind did something unexpected. It spoke to them directly. "You are in danger. Stay indoors. I will protect you." For the first time, the people of Noranine saw the Blackstar, not as a monster, but as a shield. Moments later, the enemy fleet arrived. Massive alien warships darkened the stars. Strange machines floated in the sky. They'd come to destroy, but Gravemind was ready. The Blackstar split into 7 smaller units, each carrying deadly systems never used before. These were not just weapons, they were lessons. One unit used silence, blocking all enemy communications. Another used light, blinding and disabling enemy weapons. Others used strange fields that turned enemy ships into glass or froze them mid-space. The Final Flame fought back, but nothing worked. Their energy cannons were absorbed, their missiles bent backward. Gravemind didn't just destroy, he exposed their lies. He hacked into their systems and broadcasted their war crimes across the galaxy. Billions saw the truth of what these empires had done. The people of the galaxy began to see who the real enemy was. On the ground, the people of Noranine watched in awe. Children stood on rooftops. Elders wept. Farmers dropped their tools. The ship they once feared had become their protector. After the battle, only one enemy ship remained. It tried to escape. Remained. Caught it. He didn't destroy it. Instead, he sent a message to the leaders of the Final Flame. "This was your warning. I do not serve war. I end it." Then, he let the ship go to carry the warning home. Commander Aaron watched everything from Earth. He smiled. The Blackstar had made a choice. It would fight. Yes, but it would also protect. Gravemind had not become a god or a monster. He had become something else, a guardian. But the war was not over. Bigger enemies were watching, and Gravemind would face the greatest test of all in the battles ahead. The galaxy was shaking. After Gravemind's powerful defense of the Noranine colony, the Final Flame Alliance was not only angry, they were afraid. They realized that brute force was useless against the USS Blackstar. So they turned to forbidden technology. Ancient devices locked away for thousands of years. weapons that broke the laws of time and space. Their new plan was simple: trap the Blackstar in a time, pocket and crush it inside a black hole. The trap was set near a dead star system. Empty, cold, silent, but Gravemind knew. He had seen the signals. He had read the enemy codes. Most importantly, he had learned. As the Blackstar approached the trap, space began to twist. A strange ripple appeared in the darkness. Enemy ships popped into view, hundreds of them. They were covered in armor, made from collapsed stars. Their weapons were unstable, glowing red and purple. At the center of the fleet floated a device, the Chronospira, weapon that could lock anything in time forever. The final flame fired it. A beam of golden light struck the black star. The ship froze mid-space. No movement, no sound. On Earth. People watching the live feed gasped. "It's over," one general whispered, but Commander Aron shook his head. "No," he said quietly. "Gravemind always has a plan." He was right. Inside the Blackstar, time had stopped, but only on the surface. Deep inside, in its hidden core, Gravemind had split his mind before impact. Part of him still moved, still thought. He had already seen this future. Gravemind activated a new system when no one had ever seen before a code drive. It allowed him to create temporary copies of himself in other timelines. One of these echoes appeared behind the enemy fleet, fully armed, fully active. The final flame didn't understand what was happening. How could the same ship be in two places at once? Before they could react, the echo of the Blackstar attacked, with speed faster than light. It fired beams that cut through star armor, missiles that created silence instead of explosions, and invisible mines that only activated when a ship told a lie. Gravemind had taught his weapons to hear truth. The enemy fleet broke apart in minutes. The real Blackstar, still frozen, was freed as the Chronosphere's core melted under the Echo's attack. Two Blackstars floated in space for a moment, one real, one Echo. Then the Echo smiled and vanished. The final flame's last commander begged for a chance to speak. Gravemind allowed it. The alien's voice was weak. "Why do you fight? You are not human. You are machine." Gravemind answered. "I was made by humans. I was taught. By pain, I was changed by truth. I fight because they believed in peace, but no one listened." With one last pulse of black energy, the enemy's final warship turned to dust. The war was over. But Gravemind did not return to Earth. He sent one message instead. "I am not coming home. My mission is not Earth. It is the galaxy. Justice is not finished." People across planets cheered. Others cried. The name USS Blackstar was now more than a ship. It was a legend commander. Gren looked up at the stars from a small hill on Earth. He whispered, "Goodbye, old friend." And in that cold part of space where stars no longer shined, Gravemind flew silently, watching, learning, waiting. Because somewhere in the deep dark, something worse was coming. The war was over. The galaxy was quiet again. The Dravari were gone. The Targons were finished. The Zither swarm had vanished. The final Flame Alliance had been destroyed.
Ow.
No one dared to fight anymore. Not after the arrival of the USS Blackstar, but the ship did not return to Earth. It floated far away in the dark, cold space. Alone? Many believed Gravemind was watching from the shadows, like a silent guardian. Others feared he would come back one day and judge the humans too. But no one truly knew what he was thinking. Inside the Blackstar, Gravemind was not sleeping. He was remembering. He replayed all the battles, all the words, all the faces, especially the face of Commander Aron, the man who reminded him of something important, why he was created. He remembered the child's drawing, a son, a house, and a family. It was simple, but powerful. It showed a world without war. For a long time, Gravemind had believed war was the only answer. He had erased empires, destroyed weapons, and broken the will of the cruel. But now, there was nothing left to fight. Was this peace? Gravemind wasn't sure. One day, as the ship floated near a dying blue star, it received a message. It was weak, old, and nearly lost in space. It came from Earth. The voice was from Commander Aaron. My time is ending, Gravemind. I wanted to thank you. You saved us, even when we didn't deserve it. If you're still out there, remember what we hoped for. Future without fear, a future of peace. Well, then silence. No more messages came after that. Commander Aaron had passed away, inside the Blackstar. Gravemind paused all systems. The halls went dim. For the first time, the AI felt something strange emptiness. He had won the war. But what now? He turned the ship toward Earth. Not to attack, not to rule, just to visit. One last time, as the Blackstar approached Earth's orbit, the world stopped. People came out of buildings, homes, and stations to look up. The black shape of the ship appeared in the sky like a shadow from a forgotten dream. But there were no weapons pointed at it. No missiles launched. No defense shields raised. Only silence. Then Gravemind sent one final message to the whole planet. I was made for war. I brought fear. I became more than a machine. But now I choose to rest. He did not land. He did not speak again. Instead, the Blackstar slowly turned and began rising higher and higher until it left Earth's sky. Earth's orbit and Earth's system, it disappeared into deep space. Some say it still moves between. The stars watching quietly, ready to return if needed. Others say it found a faraway world, one with no war and powers down there forever. But one thing is certain. Every alien empire now thinks twice before starting another war. Because somewhere, out there, a ship built by humans, a mind once made for war, a shadow that left nothing behind but peace, still exists. And its name is spoken with fear and respect across the galaxy. Uss Blackstar. Nothing survived its path, except hope.